Late one evening, as the wind howled through the trees outside, I sat by the living room window, staring out into the darkness. My heart pounded, my fingers gripping the armrest of my chair. He was there again. The boy, standing just beyond the garden, his small frame barely visible in the dim glow of the porch light. I had seen him before, many times in fact. At first I thought it was just my imagination, a trick of the shadows. But no matter how much I tried to convince myself otherwise, he kept appearing, always at a distance, always silent. And each time his presence sent a chill through my entire body. I told my husband, Daniel, about him, but he only laughed. "Sweetheart, you're overthinking things. It's probably some neighborhood kid playing around." He patted my shoulder and went back to his book, completely unfazed. But I knew better. This wasn't just some child from down the street. There was something different about him, something unsettling. His dark, piercing eyes never wavered when they met mine. His expression was neither sad nor happy, just blank, as if he was waiting for something. One night I decided to confront him. I stepped outside, my heart racing with every step toward the garden. The boy didn't move. He just stood there, watching. My voice trembled as I called out, "Who are you? What do you want?" He didn't answer. He simply tilted his head as if studying me, then turned and walked away, disappearing into the night. I rushed back inside, breathless. "Daniel, I saw him again. He was right there." I pointed toward the window, but by the time my husband looked, the boy was gone. Daniel sighed. "Honey, maybe you need some rest. You've been stressed lately." I wanted to argue, but I knew it was useless. He didn't believe me. He never did. Days passed, and the boy kept returning, always silent, always watching. I tried taking pictures, but every time my camera captured nothing but an empty yard. I even asked the neighbors if they had seen a boy matching his description, but no one had. It was as if he existed only for me. Then, one evening, something changed. I woke up to a sound, a soft knocking at our front door. My stomach clenched as I crept downstairs, my pulse hammering in my ears. Through the peephole, I saw nothing but darkness. But when I hesitantly opened the door, a whisper carried on the wind. "Help me." The voice was faint, almost too soft to hear. I stepped outside, looking around. No one was there, but I could feel it. He was close, closer than ever before. I shivered and turned to go back inside, but just as I reached for the door handle, a small, cold hand wrapped around my wrist, and then everything went black. I gasped awake, my breath coming in sharp, panicked bursts. My body was cold, my fingers numb, but I was inside, back in my living room, lying on the couch. The lights were off, the house completely silent, except for the distant ticking of the clock on the wall. How did I get here? I remembered the door, the whisper, the hand grabbing me, but everything after that was a blur. I sat up, rubbing my wrist. It still tingled where the boy had touched me. My skin felt ice cold, as if his grip had drained the warmth from me. I swallowed hard, my mind racing. Was this real, or was I losing my grip on reality? The next morning, Daniel found me in the same spot, curled up on the couch. He frowned as he set his coffee cup down. "You didn't come to bed?" I shook my head, staring at my hands. "Something happened last night." His expression softened, but I could see the doubt in his eyes. "You had another dream, didn't you?" "No," I insisted, my voice sharper than I intended. "I was awake. I heard a knock at the door. I went outside. And he was there. He touched me, and then everything went black." Daniel exhaled slowly, running a hand through his hair. "Honey, I think you need a break from all of this, maybe some time away just to clear your head." I wanted to scream. Why wouldn't he listen? Why wouldn't he believe me? Frustrated, I grabbed my phone and checked the security camera footage. If the boy was real, he had to show up on the recordings. But when I pulled up the video from last night, the screen showed nothing. The porch was empty. The door never even opened. That didn't make sense. I knew what I had experienced. I wasn't imagining it. I turned to Daniel. I don't understand. He was right there. Daniel sighed. Sweetheart, maybe you're just exhausted. Stress can do weird things to the mind. I clenched my jaw, feeling utterly alone in my fear. I knew what I had seen, what I had felt, and deep down, I knew the boy wasn't going to stop. That night, as I lay in bed, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was watching me. The room felt colder, the air heavy. I pulled the blanket tighter around myself, trying to ignore the prickling sensation on my skin. Then, a sound, faint, distant, a whisper floating through the darkness. Help me! My breath hitched. I turned my head slowly, my pulse hammering. The boy was standing at the foot of my bed. I couldn't move. My body felt frozen, my breath caught in my throat. The boy stood there, his dark eyes locked on mine. He didn't speak, didn't blink, just watched me, like he was waiting for something. I wanted to scream, but no sound came out. I squeezed my eyes shut, willing him to disappear. When I finally forced myself to look again, he was gone. The room felt eerily silent, like the air itself had thickened. I sat up, my hands trembling as I reached for the lamp. The warm light flooded the space, but it did nothing to ease the fear crawling under my skin. I wasn't imagining this. I knew he was real. The next morning, I avoided telling Daniel. What was the point? He would just dismiss it like he always did. Instead, I tried to act normal, but the exhaustion weighed on me. I could feel the boy's presence everywhere, lurking just beyond my vision, waiting. I needed answers. Who was he? Why was he here? And why was I the only one who could see him? I started digging through old news articles, searching for anything that might explain what was happening. Missing children, local legends, unexplained events, nothing matched. Frustrated, I closed my laptop, rubbing my temples. That's when my phone buzzed, an unknown number. I hesitated before answering. Hello? A low, breathy voice whispered through the speaker. You shouldn't be looking. My blood ran cold. I spun around, my heart pounding. The house was silent, empty, but I knew I wasn't alone. The phone call ended abruptly, leaving only silence. My hand trembled as I lowered the phone, my breath coming in short, uneven gasps. Who was that? How did they know what I was doing? A sudden creak echoed through the house. My body tensed. I wasn't alone. Slowly I stood up, my ears straining for any sound. The hallway light flickered, casting shifting shadows along the walls. I took a shaky step forward, my heart hammering. Then I heard it. A whisper. Close. Too close. Come outside. The voice wasn't coming from the phone anymore. It was inside the house. I spun around, my pulse pounding in my ears. No one was there, but I could feel him. The boy. He was near. A cold draft swept through the room, making my skin prickle. The front door was slightly open. I knew I hadn't left it that way. I swallowed hard. Every instinct screamed at me to run, to wake Daniel, to do anything but step outside. But something stronger pulled me forward. The night air was heavy, thick with something I couldn't name. My feet moved on their own, past the porch, into the yard. The street was empty, silent, but then, movement. He was standing at the edge of the trees, his dark silhouette barely visible. This time he wasn't alone. Shadows shifted around him, figures forming out of the darkness. My breath caught in my throat. They were watching me, all of them. Then the boy lifted his hand and pointed, behind me. I turned, just as the world around me went completely black. I woke up gasping, my body cold against the damp earth. My head throbbed, and for a moment I couldn't tell where I was. The night stretched around me, silent and vast. The air smelled of rain, of soil, of something old. I pushed myself up, my hands sinking into the damp ground. I was in the woods. But how? The last thing I remembered was the boy pointing behind me, then nothing. A shiver ran through me as I looked around. Shadows twisted between the trees, their branches stretching like skeletal fingers. Then I saw him, the boy. Standing a few feet away, his dark eyes locked on mine. But something was different this time. He wasn't alone. A woman stood beside him, her face pale, her dress torn and faded, as if she had stepped out of another time. Her eyes were hollow, her lips parted like she wanted to speak but couldn't. And behind her, more figures emerged from the darkness, men, women, children. Their bodies flickered like they weren't fully there, caught between this world and something else. My pulse pounded. I tried to step back, but my legs felt heavy, like the earth was pulling me down. The boy finally spoke. His voice was barely above a whisper. "You have to remember." A sharp pain shot through my head. Flashes of something buried deep rushed through me. A name, a place, a feeling of overwhelming grief. I gasped, gripping my temples. "Remember what?" I managed to choke out. The boy stepped closer. "You were there," he whispered. My stomach dropped. "That's not possible. I don't even know you." The woman beside him tilted her head. A single tear rolled down her cheek. "You left us," she murmured. A cold wave of dread washed over me. My heart pounded in my chest. I shook my head. "Number I don't understand." The boy's gaze darkened. "You will." The wind picked up, whispering through the trees like voices calling my name. The figures surrounding me moved closer, their faces full of sorrow, of pain, of something I couldn't yet understand. And then I did remember, and I wished I hadn't. A flood of memories crashed over me, knocking the breath from my lungs. I staggered back, my vision swimming as fragments of the past pieced themselves together. I had been here before, years ago, a different life, a different time. I saw myself, younger, standing in this very place. The boy, he wasn't a stranger. I had known him, I had left him. The realization hit like ice in my veins. He wasn't haunting me, he was waiting for me to remember. Tears burned in my eyes as I whispered, "I left you behind." The boy nodded, his face unreadable, but the sadness in his eyes was unmistakable. The woman beside him, her face became clearer now, more familiar. She wasn't a ghost, she was my mother, my real mother. And then I knew the truth. I wasn't supposed to be here in my warm home with Daniel, living an ordinary life. I was supposed to be with them. A long time ago, there had been a fire, a terrible accident. I had been the only one to escape, but instead of staying, instead of remembering, I had been taken far away, given a new life, a new name. My mind had blocked it out, burying the pain so deep that I had forgotten everything. Until now. My chest tightened as I looked at the faces surrounding me, people I had once loved, people I had abandoned without even realizing it. The boy stepped forward. "It's time." I shook my head, backing away. "No, I have a life. I have a husband. I can't..." But even as I spoke, I felt it. A pull deep inside me, stronger than anything I had ever known. Then behind me, a voice. "Sweetheart." I spun around. Daniel was standing at the edge of the trees, his face pale, eyes wide with fear. "What are you doing out here?" I turned back to the boy, the woman, the others, but they were already fading, dissolving into the mist, like they had never been there. The night was quiet again. The wind had stopped. The trees stood still. Daniel rushed to me, his hands warm against my ice-cold skin. "You're freezing. Come on, let's go home." I let him lead me away, but as I glanced back one last time, the boy stood there watching, and for the first time, he smiled. Daniel held me close as we walked back toward the house, his arm wrapped around my shoulders like he was afraid I might disappear. My body was still cold, my mind spinning, but I didn't say a word. What could I even say? That I had just come face to face with a past I had no memory of, that ghosts, spirits, whatever they were, had been trying to bring me back to a life I had forgotten. I wasn't sure Daniel would ever believe me. Inside, the warmth of our home felt distant, like it belonged to someone else. I sat down on the couch, staring at my hands, feeling the weight of everything I had just uncovered. "Do you want to tell me what happened?" Daniel asked gently. He knelt in front of me, his eyes searching mine. "You were out there in the dark, all alone. I've never seen you like that." I opened my mouth to speak, but I hesitated. The truth felt too big, too unreal, so I just shook my head. "I don't know," I whispered. I needed to be out there." Daniel sighed, rubbing his hands over his face. "You scared me." I looked past him toward the window. The yard was empty now, just swaying trees and the quiet hum of the night. But I could still feel them. Not in a haunting way. No, it was different now. They weren't trying to pull me away. They had let me go. Somewhere deep inside, I understood what had happened. The boy, my brother, had waited all these years for me to remember, not to take me back, but to set me free. He had needed me to know the truth, to acknowledge what had been lost, and now he could finally rest. A deep breath filled my lungs, the air lighter than before. Daniel reached for my hand. "Whatever happened tonight, it's over now." I squeezed his fingers, nodding. Maybe he was right. Maybe this chapter had finally closed. That night, as I lay in bed, I expected to feel afraid, to sense the boy standing at the foot of the bed like before. But the room was quiet. The air was still. And for the first time in weeks, I slept without fear. Somewhere in the space between memory and time, I knew my brother was at peace, and so was I.